and larger, and possibility of Vikings being prepared for that as well. So Morrow is in a pretty good spot right now. Look at this. The supply has caught up a little bit. He does have his expansion ready to go. He's already used the energy either for a scan or for a mule, which there is one mule right here, so possibly use it on that. And so that gives him an economic advantage that Huck does not have, because the fact that Huck is just now getting his own expansion, and the expansion is already on the way and it's ready to go for Morrow. But he wisely upgraded that to an orbital command. But this is a big attack. There is a bunch of SCVs. Look how many SCVs are in this army. So here we go right now, and Huck's positioning is absolutely terrible. This is a big mistake. He needs to back out. The Colossus showing up way too late. These force fields aren't actually doing anything because all those units can still shoot. So this was a brilliant move here by Morrow, getting absolute phenomenal position there. And Huck, I don't think has enough. Look at this. These units are getting dropped on top of Huck's army. Once again, going to snipe the Colossus. So phenomenal control here from Morrow in this game. I would say he had a disadvantage going into that battle, but his positioning right here was so perfect. Huck should not have engaged that. That definitely did not go in his favor. That was a really, really big mistake. And you can see here 500 minerals less as far as the units lost are concerned. So that's definitely going to help Morrow in this. He did lose several SCVs in that exchange, but he has quite a few remaining that he is transferring down to his expansion, and Huck's expansion is just now getting underway as well. But if we look at the army size, now Huck is at a disadvantage, even though he was clearly at about a 10 advantage supply earlier. So this definitely does favor Morrow killing that pylon right there. Just one more thing going right in his favor. And, I mean, he's got plenty of supply, but every unit you can kill is obviously good for you. And the Viking now, there's 2 of them, so should be able to snipe these no problem. And this is the part where Huck is just going to be not very happy, because the Vikings had that 9 range, which means he has to get a bunch of Stalkers to deal with the Vikings, but then he has to make sure he has enough ground army to deal with these Marines and Marauders. So now his own rocks are definitely going to go down very, very easily. This is going to go down in no time flat, as there are enough Marines and Marauders inside that army. Now, they do not have any attack or armor upgrades, but it doesn't really matter at this point because his army mixture is much more healthy. And even the Vikings over here scouting exactly what's going on, seeing if they can snipe any stray Colossus, but also using them just for the vision to see where everything's at. And there you go, going to try and snipe that. Although he could lose the Vikings, he needs to be very, very careful with that, but Vikings are pretty robust in that regard. They're able to get out of there quite easily. So now Huck has to try and decide where his opponent is going. Some of these Marauders actually split up from the army, and so they are going to be running over here, possibly going to be unpowering these gateways once he kills both of these pylons. And so Huck needs to make sure to warp in some units. No, the one pylon goes down, and Morrow wisely backs out of there so he doesn't lose any of his units. And this is the difficulty of being a Protoss, is you have to be able to take this head on. If they separate you, you're in a lot of trouble. His army health is pretty good, though. I mean, army, it's like a healthy combination at this point for Huck. So he does have a decent army composition, but the problem is his no Zealot legs is really going to cost him the longer this game goes on. And so he has more Immortals on the way, no Thermal Lance, and so he's just barely making the units he needs to get by. And so he does have his natural, which is important, but I think if we take a look at the income tab, it is definitely going to favor the Terran because of those mules. And Huck does not have charge. He's only got the one Colossus. There's enough Vikings almost instantly kill this Colossus, which is exactly what's going to happen. That Colossus will go down, microing these Marines and Marauders back to force these Stalkers to chase them. Although the Vikings unwisely flying over these Stalkers, but then they finally do land. It does look like they will go down, though. Although I don't think Huck has enough to take us on directly. He very well may, though. Just not enough energy for that Guardian Shield. This is an extremely close battle right here. I guess Huck does